Hi everybody, welcome to this video. This video is my September wrap up. Thank you for joining me. We're gonna run through our ratings and some brief reviews on the 10 books that I read during September. Just checking the number. Yeah, it is 10. I have my glasses so that I can see what I've written in my journal, because last time I was like squinting like crazy. And yeah, if I look down and you can't see my journal, that's what I'm up to. So yeah, I'm gonna pop my eyes on. Yeah, so we're gonna run through the ratings, brief reviews. I try not to give too much away with like storylines and stuff like that. And then of course I say, definitely read this, or don't really go for this one, or this is what I thought. But of course you guys might think differently, because we're all different readers. So let's get started, because there's quite a lot to get through. I did stick to my TBR, but toward the end I decided to do a couple of books that went on my TBR, because I was just in the mood to read them, so yeah. But the ones that were on my TBR were the first bunch. So the first book that I read was Chasing Horizons by Alison A. Andrews. This is one of my favorite indie authors that I have discovered in 2025, thanks to Fables and Froth Bookshop. This edition is signed by an author, which I love that kind of thing. I finally got to this book. Took me a while, but yeah, it was 4.5 stars for me. It's the second book in the Circle of Friends series. I've read everything but the third book, including her new stuff. Yeah. It's a great addition to the Circle of Friends series, and I highly recommend her as an Aussie indie author. It's very enjoyable, and it's Australia, Brisbane based, which is really, really cool. And this one actually links a little bit to her new release, which is called On Thin Ice. Yeah, so she kind of links her new series to that. Yeah, I recommend that one. Just going to show my page of my journal. So our next book, and a lot of people are surprised that I picked this one up and gave it a shot. This is Butcher and Blackbird. I gave it 3 stars. It was okay, but it's just not my vibe, to be honest. It was like I was ready for the weird, and it's definitely a very hyped up book. It was okay. I was kind of expecting more dark, to be honest. But yeah, the graphic details when it came to the smut was very, very dark. I was expecting more dark from like the storyline type of side of things. Yeah, and I probably won't be continuing with the series because it's just not my thing. But I did give it a go, the first one, and I'm glad I did give it a go and decide that it's not for me. I totally understand why people love it though. Totally get that. The next book I read was by an indie author as well. His name is Damien. I don't know how to pronounce his surname. The book is The Wine Dark Daughter, and this was my book club book for fantasy for September. The other one was actually an Alison Ashley book. It was the first one in the Circle of Friends series, but I read that way back in like February, so this is our only book club book for September. It was alright. It took me to like the middle and the end to get into it, and that's when the story kind of developed for me. The start and the middle was very factual and descriptive language and a lot of knowledge that you needed for the story. And I think a little bit less of that would have made it better. But it was very interesting and very, very different to other stories that I have read. So yeah, 3.5 stars. An alrightish one. Oh, I need to turn our page. The next book that I read was A Court of Winds and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I'm trying to get through the Akata series by the end of the year. That's my goal. And next year I plan to do Crescent City during the year. Yeah, so this one, I loved this one of the series. I gave it 5 stars. It was definitely a good addition, very entertaining, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next ones up ahead to finish the series off. And yeah, I always recommend Sarah J. Maas. I discovered her last year when I did my first read of Throne of Glass, and it's one of my favourite series, and she's definitely our favourite author. She does fabulous stuff. Yeah, if you haven't read any of her books, definitely do so. The next book is The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. I took forever to get to this book. I've had this book since I first started collecting and reading, and yeah, a long time. I gave this one 4.5 stars. It was nice to read another book by this author because it had been a while. And I did enjoy this one. This was like one of her first books, so yeah. I discovered Sarah Adams as an author last year when I read When in Rome and some of her other books. And yeah, she's quite a nice author. She's definitely one of my faves. Okay, so recommend both of those and the authors. The next pile of 5 we're up to. The next one I read was Red Queen. This was a book from my 25 books to read in 2025, which I'm doing alright with. I'm not sure if I'll get it finished or not though. There's still, including the one on October TBR, there's still 5 to go, so fingers crossed I can do it. This one here I gave 3.5 stars to. It was okay. It took me a while to read it, and I wasn't really into the novella, if you guys recall from a few months back whenever I read it. So I probably won't continue this series because I'm not really into it, which is a shame because I did get it as a gift, so yeah. But I tried. To me, it's more war-based dystopian than fantasy element, and I have discovered this year that I'm not really like a war fantasy type of girly. I'm more of a, yeah, other mythical stuff like fays and magic and dragons and yeah, all that other stuff. But I gave it a go. It was alright. 3.5 stars, and it was one off my list, so yeah. That was that. If you like that series though, obviously, that's awesome. Okay, the next book was The Ashes of the Star-Cursed King. This one here is the cool special edition. I'm collecting the special ones because I love this series. I really, really enjoy it. It's Christopher Bulbett is the author, and I gave this 5 stars. I am loving this series so much. It's a good addition to the series, and I'm so into my vampire era at the moment. I'm looking forward to reading the upcoming books. I do have the next one on my TBR for October, the novella in between book 2 and 3. So we're getting there with the series, which is cool. Definitely recommend that one if you love vampire stuff. It's one that I discovered when I was trying to find vampire stories, and yeah, I just love that series. If you have any other like recommendations too, vampire wise, let me know. They can be like romancy as well. Yeah, I'm just kind of in that era at the moment. Or anything similar to like Sarah J. Maas. Yeah. We have a few to go. So this was the last one on my TBR that I did for the month. It's a mystery one called What Happened to Nina. This was part of another 2025 challenge that I'm doing, where there is a book with a question in the title. And obviously the question is, what happened to Nina? This was really surprisingly good. I actually loved this. I gave it 5 stars. I couldn't put it down. Like, I just wanted to know what happened so bad. And just kept you engaged so well to find out. Yeah, and I'll definitely look into other books by this author. Devella, I think is how you pronounce her first name. Yeah, apparently she wrote The Murder Rule and some other cool stuff. And one cool thing I found when I was reading it, it's actually signed. I had no idea that it was signed. I just opened it to read it and I was like, what? So that was an extra bonus to the fun. Yeah, if you love mysteries, this is definitely one I would say it's a really good murder mystery. Yeah, I gave it 5 stars. And we'll definitely look into other books by the author for the future. So the next 2 I did sort of as like mood reads. All month I was like craving some dungeon crawler Carl. I don't know if any of you guys out there are into the series as well, but a lot of people at the local book club and stuff are really into the series, and I am too. I'm one of those members of the crew. I love the series, and I gave this second book 5 stars as well. It's called Carl's Doomsday Scenario. I think there's 7 books in the series. It's by Matt Dingham. Yeah, and the series is just so fun. They're easy to read. It's a really fun series. It's very creatively written, and I'm definitely going to continue with the series. Book 3 is waiting on my TBR cart for hopefully next time. We do a TBR, so yeah. Highly recommend joining the crew of Dungeon Crawler Carl people. It's a great series. And then we decided to pick up this skinny one on Sarah J. Maas's series, A Quarter Frost and Starlight. I was just looking for like a short quick read because I had a few days left of the month. And yeah, I wanted to do something else mood reading wise, but I didn't want it to be too long because I wanted to get into my October TBR. So I just went with A Quarter Frost and Starlight. A lot of people warned me about this one. They thought, you know, it wasn't really relevant to have in the series and other stuff like that, but I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars, this one. And yeah, we're getting close to the end of the series. The last book is on my TBR card. And yeah, I thought it was valuable information in the storyline of this, and I did enjoy it. I didn't mind it at all. But yeah, I get what people are saying with it because it is short and yeah, not long and stuff like that, but I did appreciate the information that was given and thought it was necessary for the storyline of the whole series. Yeah. So that was that, and that was everything. Our 10 reads for September. It was, yeah, pretty good month. A lot of good reads and a lot of like average sort of reads. Nothing like terrible. Yeah, so it was a good month and a bunch of good stuff there. Yeah, so thank you for joining me in this video to wrap up September. If you haven't checked out my October TBR, make sure you guys go back a video and check that out. And I did mention in my October TBR video that I was considering wrapping my books on my TBR cart for November and December. November because it's my birthday month, and December because it's Christmas, kind of unwrap season. So I decided to go with that flow. So when I sort out my TBR cart, I will wrap the books on there for my TBR, which will be fun. I'm considering what to do with the rest of the books I have left on my 25 books to read for 2025. Whether I just leave those ones out and automatically put them on my TBR or just leave it to chance. Yeah, so I'm still considering that part of it. And I'm considering whether to use like a spinning wheel or if I use my TBR jar and pull the numbers out. I'm not sure on that part yet, but I have decided to wrap for November and December just for a bit of a change and to see how it goes as well, so that I can make a decision for 2026 as to what we're going to do to work out TBR. Could be a mix, we'll see. But thank you for joining me in my wrap up. I really appreciate you watching all this time, and I'll catch you all very, very soon. Bye!